my god, it's the queen with the goddamn rent out chair. Oh, and she's looking like Dame Natalie Nunn's shadow. You know, that one girl on that reality TV show. Hello, good evening everyone out there in the world. This is the lovely and beautiful superstar captain of the Daystar Voyage, Miss Kyoko Cane. Yes, pronouns HBIC by the way. The space captain of the Daystar Voyage, Kyoko Cane, on this channel and also platforms where we talk about entertainment media, the good, the bad, the beautiful, the ugly, along with my cosplay and my art style, pretty much what I love to do and throughout my many takes and from good and bad to beautiful and ugly and the flawed throughout. But yeah, besides all that, just feeling all glammed up because I wanted to get my red hair because she's looking really poison ivy, etc. and whatnot, and it feels great and voluminous. But yeah, besides all that, I love this hair, by the way. Just want to let you know, I just want to have a really great discussion of what's been going on in my mind about this topic. Is fandom culture okay, and is entertainment media as a whole okay? Because we need to have this discussion about pretty much basically how we're pretty much not seeing like full-on characters that are just like we can just empathize and just actually sympathize and also be able to just like gravitate to. And those two words that I said just now, we're going to get to those in a minute later on because we need to just have this full-on discussion of how pretty much we see today's media as such. Because due to like the whole kids animation and also PBS kids entertainment shutting down and also the funds being cut down, toxic fandoms are being like are rising 24/7 and just like pretty much just A-words and threats just going around 24/7 on social media and home, etc. things are going on. It's just absolutely unacceptable and we just have this discussion now. And I really am heavily concerned. I'm being very transparent in this video. So I do hope that y'all are locked up with a key, consistency with me, come on the spaceship and the Daystar Voyage with me, Miss Kyoko Cane, and let's blast off space boys and cowgirls and ladies and gents and days and dems, wherever you are out in the world, you know.
Challenge. Get a fucking job. Do that challenge.
The reason why I really wanted to break down into this video is because of the fact a person who also watched like animation throughout the times I've been born, as a queen who loves anything that's LGBT, etc. throughout, which I pretty much call the LGBT 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, whatever you call it nowadays, because people like to add no pronouns. But anyway, besides all that, as a person why I really want to discuss about this topic is because of the fact that people, I understand that people love to love animation and cartoons as a whole, and love like this certain type of animation, entertainment media of what they like, and it's just honestly to this point where like people need to be able to just like differentiate the art from the artist and reality from fantasy nowadays, and it's just like people are not straying away or just trying to be able to just like do that nowadays. Like, it's understandable to just like go home off of a bad day of work or school or do something that you love to do or something that you don't like to do in reality or in life, and just like sit down in front of the TV screen or be it for video gaming or watching your favorite show and just escape from it all, you know, escapism as such, and just like vibe out to it. And I understand that people like to garner themselves as fans or a certain character throughout, and it's understandable that people can pretty much gravitate to that as such from the TV shows and also media and etc. Yeah, media and such. But it's only to this point where like people need to like sometimes, like I said, differentiate reality from fantasy and the art from the artist because people are not like doing that nowadays. And it's kind of like really shameful how people just take things so literal or be it from like critical thinking person or critical writing statement that's pretty much a fact or logic and just twist it around to something really negative and foul. And to be real, I do feel like a certain size of like the matter, be it if you're like straight or just gay or anything or spiritual, whatever you believe in and such, just take things to too personal to an all-time high. And I feel like it's that blame for it is just like people, I feel like the blame for it is just basically just like the anti-intellectualism of it all, and also starting from home, also certain people's livelihood, and also their life and how it's going as such. And like I said, understandable that we go to like pretty much media to escape from it all, but the way that people have pretty much gone down to like pretty much just like going to like threatening people and just like saying K-word and A-wording certain people as such is pretty much unacceptable. And also as a person to myself, has also been a victim of just like many threats around like certain fandoms and such, because I'm not the type of person just like pretty much let it get to me until like a certain matter as such. And be it from the person who has been pretty much scammed from a certain type of fandom that's pretty much not to be whole, that needs to be do a lot more rectifying and also critiquing to filth that I'm going to do afterwards on the next video and the next topic. Soon enough. But yeah, besides all that, I do feel like nowadays people can't differentiate from reality and fantasy because of how pretty much they're so stuck onto like a certain character or a franchise or a certain thing that they like, and just like being and just like coming across as being inconsiderate and not listening to like core values and like traditional writing skills that people just gravitate to. Like I said, from like a traditional person who has watched late 80s stuff and also 90s stuff, media. And I do feel like we're losing touch of like the garner, like the traditional audience are like seeking values amongst like today's media. And yes, I do understand we need LGBT etc. stuff, and then we can pretty much see ourselves as other people and whatnot. But it's just like it comes to the point where it's just like our livelihood is now being changed, and certain like traditional virtues and values are being like compromised just to like put on a staple point or put in certain like characters or media on a high stool, knowing full well it get critiqued like any other like sitcom or this type of genre or demographic. And that goes to anime. Anime, I'm gonna get to that in a moment. Anime is the number one topic too also. Even though anime has been doing a lot more great with like pretty much distributing a lot more stuff throughout Western animation, more than Western animation doing a good job at that, if it makes sense. But yeah, I do feel like with certain topics of like anime etc. that I am very proud of like people from like Asia and also Asia entertainment as a whole showing like great numbers and also viewership and like doing a good job as such, and it feels great and refreshing to do so and see that people nowadays are pretty much aiming to watching anime a lot more. However, I do feel like with the demographics, I do feel like I discussed about my recent video called DreamCon aka RatchetCon review that I did. I do feel like there's more to anime just like basically like than just shonen. There's more like anime than just like shonen. There's like so many demographics that people are not exploring as such, because I do feel like people gone towards shonen because it's like a one-way street towards like popularity or clout. It's just like that one thing that they could just benefit like a person's like account, or just like they're influencing like art or influencing or content creating and whatnot. Because we have so many like demographics such as shoujo and josei and also seinen. In that order, girls and women and also men demographic and audience that cater towards that. And I feel like with anime we're pretty much falling to like stagnation of like entertainment like we do it with the animation, where like how they're portraying like certain characters who lack like agency and depth and closure and proper like exposition when it comes down to just like writing a character or a series. Like everything has to be like a checkbox towards like excuse me while I get back to the anime segment. Where like what's the animation is like a checkbox towards like how a character is supposed to act like a certain trope or stereotype, and it just like becomes so just like distasteful and just disappointing how basically certain characters certain things act this way. It's like come across as very robotic at a sense, if like understanding. But I'm gonna get to a clip a segment editing point at that moment when I get down to that in a moment, if you know what I mean. With the anime, but with anime, I do like they nail like certain things down when it comes down to like pretty much character development too. They do like a really good job at that. Now I'm gonna get to the flaws in a minute with that, because with anime, I do feel like it has its flaws too as such. Shonen's way of pretty much basically describing all the girls and how they visually pretty much put on the screen and such, that can be clocked too and read to film too also. And also along with shonen and josei and also shoujo and seinen demographics too also. I'm gonna get to that in a minute. Along with that, another video that's coming up after this one that I'm going to discuss about anime as a whole and also manga as a whole, and the many demographics and also many art styles that derive from Korea and also in China too in a moment. But yes, thank you very much for understanding that too also, for anyone who can like comment and subscribe and just discuss about that.
And we have come down to the conclusion of this video. Thank you so much for all and everyone for watching. Apologies for the sudden cut up right there, because honestly I had stuff to do and whatnot, and I had to just like pretty much de-transformation myself, de-glamorize myself basically. But yeah, about the whole PBS Kids situation and whatnot, I do feel like we are trying certain aspects, like we need to be able to do it better with like sympathy and empathy, which like nowadays like the past 80s and 90s shows that showed us a lot of how to pretty much use that as a really great weapon to show that we usually like show a lot more care towards like how people react to certain situations, and that we can all be able to just like be much more alike than we think we are, and also have to be able to just like become our truest yourselves. On top of that, also care about certain aspects like I did said before, like previous media and animation that worked from the past that could just like pave our way, and on top of that, just be able to just like be who we truly are. But it's just like we're coming to this point where like we're adultifying almost animation to the point where like kids are going to come into like contact with that, or adolescents and say that it's for kids, but it's just like cussing and profanity and all this stuff, which like monitor what we'll be watching, what we can be seen and whatnot, and it's going to come to like really nasty effect. Now we're coming to the point where like kids are learning about sexuality and like classes and whatnot, but yet like we're not learning about the birds and bees first before we get to a older or young age, and it's just like we're adultifying and sexualizing our own kids and also adolescents, and it's just like, can we get to the birds and bees first before we get to the dinosaurs and mermaids? And also anime on top of that is one too particularly. Where I seen this comment on this good video that I pretty much found by Little, I think, on the picture below it, as you see. I do feel like with anime is just everything's so fast paced to the point where we care about the action more than the storytelling and the depth of characters throughout, but that's also for criticism to it. That's going to be another topic for another video coming up soon enough on the voyage, in which I'm so excited for too. A lot of issues within anime too. And also it's going to be really great and endearing because I'm still working myself and we're just like all the same too also. And we're not all perfect, you're not perfect, and I'm not perfect too myself. And it's just like we're in this generation, like we need to be much more open-minded and show sympathy and empathy towards one another and learn that towards, like I said, with PBS Kids, because I feel like that was much more of a time in which like we could be able to just like learn from one another and whatnot and just etc. and just be able to just empathize such. But that's all I have to say. I do hope everyone out there have a wonderful evening on the Daystar Voyage and just like sympathize with me and just like, comment, subscribe, have a discussion on the comment section if anything else I left out on there. And I do hope you have a wonderful, wonderful evening. See you next voyage, cowboys and space cowgirls, etc. And you have a wonderful evening. Peace out.